Hi, Shabbat Shalom. Oh. I'll let you.
You guys are you ready? Okay.
On behalf of the school, we present
That's
this
to
gift for
Kalisch. Welcome, Rabbi.
This is Lawrence. I'm somewhere around here. Somewhere. Awesome. I'm somewhere. I might even tie some ribbon bow thing. Can I open it now? Yeah, open it.
Never begun Shabbat services with a present.
Nice way to begin anything these days.
Ready? It looks like a Torah.
You're right.
We all also sign that.
Wow.
I made
Beautiful.
This is beautiful, guys. Thank you so
Telling
much.
you, like I forgot what I'm saying now. That's sweet. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone here on this wonderful evening. My name is Tracy Silverman. I'm the current president of Beth David. And I'm here to introduce Susan Anderer, who is the immediate past president of Beth David. But just before she shares some words with us, I'd like to let everybody know that the past President's Challenge match in honor of Rabbi Kalisch's installation was a smashing success, and to date, we have raised over $80,000 in her honor. So thank you to all the past presidents who made this happen and to everyone who has participated so generously. And Susan?
I want to welcome everyone to this joyous celebration of our wonderful new rabbi and a bright new chapter in Beth David's history. It's been a long journey to this point, but what a wonderful celebration and what a beautiful new beginning for Beth David. Many of you have had the pleasure of getting to know Rabbi Kalisch over the past year, but not many of you know about how she got here. Call it fate, luck, divine intervention, but there was certainly something in the universe looking out for Beth David in the spring of 2013 as we were looking for an interim rabbi. We were a little late in the game that spring as we were in the process of finding someone to help us transition to new rabbinic leadership. Our leads from the Central Conference of American Rabbis had run dry. Feeling a little unsure of what we were going to do, as Rabbi Egolf was set to move to his new position in less than a month, we went home one night after I think our 50th late night meeting, feeling frustrated and a little worried. That night, both Susan Cohen-Dickler, one of our search committee chairs, and Mitch Gerstein, our very internet savvy and resourceful vice president, came across a website called Rabbis Without Borders. Not only was it unusual that they were each up late at night on the web, well, okay, maybe that part wasn't unusual, or that they came across this same site, but that after searching the site with so many rabbis, both came to the meeting the next day, jazzed about the same rabbi, Rabbi Beth Kalisch. According to the site, Rabbi Kalisch was a rabbi with an interest in social justice, having worked at the Religious Action Center, a great fit for Beth David with our history of social action. They made some calls to check her out. A rock star, they heard. Warm, compassionate, intelligent. They spoke to Rabbi Kalisch. A rock star, they told the executive committee. The new kind of rabbi, we were told, by her former congregants. The CCAR was wary. She'd never been an interim rabbi before. Maybe she was too young to be an interim, they said. But the devar she gave when she came to visit moved people to tears. Her enthusiasm was contagious. Her spirit warmed the building. We would not be deterred. And so Rabbi Kalisch came to Beth David as our interim rabbi. Immediately, she won over the hearts of the congregation. Being a synagogue president is not always fun, and there are many a phone call that come with various complaints. And so with trepidation, I answered my phone last fall. She's inspiring, people said. She's so engaging, others commented. She's a rock star, people said. We have to keep her, became a familiar refrain. And so after a national search, it became clear that in fact, Rabbi Kalisch was our rabbi, and that she was in fact a rock star. She starred in our first adult Purim spiel. She starred on the steps of City Hall as she was the clergy person to speak at the rally to celebrate marriage equality. She starred recently as the clergy speaking on a stop of Equality PA's statewide tour. She stars each Friday evening as she raises her beautiful voice in prayer from the Bima at Beth David. And finally, she's a rock star as all of you have come out in record numbers to celebrate her installation. Within a few weeks of announcing the dinner in honor of her installation, an unheard of event in Beth David's history occurred. People actually RSVP'd. Not only did they RSVP, but they RSVP'd with such swiftness and in such numbers that we were forced to close the dinner weeks before the event. Rather than wondering the day before whether people would come, as was their tradition at Beth David, we knew weeks before that the congregation would be here in force to celebrate a new beginning at Beth David and to show our love and support for our wonderful rabbi. She is a rock star. She leads, she draws people in, she inspires. We are so fortunate to have her, and I am glad to call her my rabbi and my friend. And so in true rock star fashion, Rabbi Kalisch now has her very own sold-out concert t-shirt to celebrate her sold-out installation. We're lucky to have her, and I look forward to enjoying many more years under her leadership. Whether fate, luck, or divine intervention, I do know that Rabbi Kalisch would not be here were it not for the unwavering support of the Board of Trustees and the unending dedication of the Executive Committee of 2012-2013. Dinah Engel, Sam Scott, Mitch Gerstein, Sue Sakonik, Ray Reed, Tracy Silverman, Rod Bender, Tuli Kanan, and Julie Grinspan, and our search co-chairs, Susan Cohen-Dickler and Michael Yeses. We owe them a gratitude of gratitude as we confidently head with our rock star into a bright future. Thank you.
Rabbi Kalisch has brought a new tradition to our community for Shabbat services, and she opens each Shabbat service with asking congregants, members, to share something sweet that's happened during the week. So I'm going to continue that tradition to open this service and ask that you share your name and then something good that happened during this week. I know you guys have something. Jake, Zach, say it. Nancy.
We've done our final preparations for our B'nai Mitzvah.
Mazel tov.
Marty Weinberg. Nicest thing that happened during this week is to see the enormous turnout we have here today.
Absolutely. Debbie? I love it.
I'm Vanessa Saul, and I'm watching my best friend from high school get installed today.
Aw, that's wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
There's another one right there.
Oh, there's lots. Wait, which one? Jane.
Jane Telford, I made lots of balls with my granddaughter.
Aw, lovely.
Maybe a little heavy, but
Go. Oh, wonderful.
In the third row.
Third row? I can't see. Yep. Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Thanks for
joining
being here.
us. Any other sweet things? There's so many people. I know this room is filled with wonderful happenings. All right, with that, I'll turn, oh, one more. Oh, sorry. That's awesome. As a runner, I can do, that's very good. A blessing. Oh, okay. I can't say. Which blessing are you? I don't know. And I left my glasses down. Oops.
The blessing ends with the words Hatov v'Hametiv, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Hatov v'Hametiv. Blessed are you, eternal our God. You are goodness, and you bring goodness into our lives.
Amen. Thank you.
We would like to invite Silberstein family for candle blessing. Come on, guys. In honor of double bar mitzvah tomorrow. Over here. Come close. Okay. So we're saying we need to.
What are we doing first, the candles? Okay.
Take your candle.
Should I go?
Oops. Tzahara, Inu Melech HaOlam, Asher Kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'Havanu l'Ner Shel Shabbat. Thank you. Thank you. We'll invite you later.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Rabbi Charles Kroloff, and
I'm Rabbi Carrie Brooklyn Small.
I think you know Rabbi Brooklyn Small a little bit better than you know me.
But I was 17 last time I was on this bima, so
We're delighted to be here to celebrate this installation and to celebrate Shabbat with you all. And appropriately, we're going to begin with Shir Chadash, a new song for a new rabbi. And a word about the pages. Some of you are using the smaller Siddur. If you are, the page numbers are in bracketed. The ones that we announce are in blue brackets. Otherwise, the page numbers are straight for those of you using the larger volume. So the thinner volume, follow the bracketed numbers. Page 648, Shir Chadash, Sing Unto God, All the Earth, a new song, middle of the page.
Please join us. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash. I will sing unto God
Page 138. I don't know about you, but by Thursday afternoon of each week, I am getting ready for Shabbat. It's the feeling begins to pervade, no matter how busy I may be, it starts to fill my spirit, my soul, as I anticipate. By Friday morning, Friday afternoon, the anticipation builds. And then it's almost like a culmination with Lecha Dodi as the sun sets and we welcome the Shabbat bride. And you need that preparation. You need to slow down, get ready, take a deep breath, and like a new song, a new rabbi, a new day. So the first, second, fifth, and ninth verses, and I believe it's the tradition here, as is in many synagogues, to rise on the ninth verse, face the rear, and welcome the Shabbat bride. Lecha Dodi, 138.
Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, 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 b'nei Shabbat dekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, 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 b'nei Shabbat dekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad kishmi'anu Cham yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litchila Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, yeradai, yeradai b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, yeradai, yeradai b'nei Shabbat nekabela Hidoreri, hidoreri kivarech umiori uri shilveri kevot Adonai alaich nikla Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, yeradai, yeradai b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, yeradai, yeradai b'nei Shabbat nekabela Moi v'shalom atem bana gam simcha u'tohala toch emunei azigula voi chala voi chala Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, yeradai, yeradai b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat chala yeradai, yeradai, yeradai b'nei Shabbat nekabela
Page 146. We rise for Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam.
Page 148.
Ya la 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 ya la la העולם, אשר בדברו מעריף ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים. ויתרון המשנה עתים, ומעריף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיכם, ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, בורא יום ולילה, בורא מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומעביר לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימוח עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. יא לילה 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 יא לילה 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 יא לילה
Middle of page 151. Together, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue with the Shema on page 151.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shema Kevot Malchuto, Le'olam Amen. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושילמתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשתם להות על ידיך, והיו לילות אפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
We turn to page 158 for Micha Mocha, the song our people sang upon their redemption. They reached to the other side of the sea and they sang, Micha Mocha, who is as wonderful as you, God, to bring us to this joyous time. Beth David as a congregation is crossing over as well. You've been in transition with Rabbi Beth Kalisch for a year and a half now, and now you're settling her as your rabbi, and we sing together, Mi Chamocha, what could be as glorious as this moment? We turn to page 161, and we read in the middle of the page together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are truth, protection, and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Atah Adonai, haporesh shukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael. V'al Yerushalayim v'al kol amo. V'al Yerushalayim shalom. V'al Yerushalayim v'al kol amo. V'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Susan Cohen-Dickler, and I am one of the co-chairs of the Rabbi Search Committee. And I think I can say that other than Rabbi Kalisch, I'm the happiest person in this sanctuary tonight. My co-chair, Michael Yisi, sends his apologies. It was college visit weekend with his son, who is a freshman, so he couldn't be here. And Susan did such a great job of summarizing a lot of what we went through that now I can shorten my little remarks extensively. You'll be happy to hear. But when she asked me to co-chair, I'm not sure I knew what I was getting into. And then the following 2 weeks, when all of my friends and fellow congregants kind of looked at me and said, "Do you know what you're getting into?" I realized I did not. The good news was I was not in it alone. I had an amazing committee that was with me for all the late nights, all the long Skype interviews, because it is required that all rabbis have Skype addresses now, and all of the twists and turns in this journey. And I'm not going to go through everybody's names, but I am going to ask them to rise. Please, my search committee, I've seen almost all of you tonight. Just stand up. Just for a minute, because all along you wonder, did we find what we were looking for? Look around the room. I think we did. We done good. Thank you. I am here really to introduce our guests who you've already met this evening. It's traditional in an installation that the installee, has two other rabbis who lead the service. There's a lot of information already in the books about their professional experiences, but I wanted to talk a little bit for Rabbi Kalisch about her personal relationships to them. Rabbi Kroloff has been a teacher and mentor to Rabbi Beth during rabbinical school and every step of the way since. Whenever she needed him, he was there. Apparently, he was the mentor to many, but he always made time, and he always helped Beth when she needed it, Rabbi Beth. In fact, she feels that she should pay part of his cell phone bill since she thinks she cost a lot of it. And I should probably warn you, Rabbi, that I don't think you're done after tonight, so keep that cell phone handy. We also have Rabbi Carrie Bricklin Small, who you do all know as her parents are active members here. Carrie and Beth have been friends for many, many years. I think the part of their friendship, though, was beshert, or fated. They were in rabbinical school together, and apparently they were told that they were going to partner up on Monday with a study partner. They got to class on Monday and realized that everybody else had found their partner over the weekend except Carrie and Beth. So they became partners, and Beth said specifically it was one of the luckiest days of her life. They talked constantly, they studied together, they went to Israel together. Now I think it's largely done from their respective synagogue offices, but they sustain each other, and that will continue. In fact, Rabbi Kalisch was ordained at the wedding of Carrie, and I don't know anything officially, but you may be returning that favor sometime soon. Rabbis?
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. It's a joy for me and my wife Terry to be here this Shabbat. This is a great congregation, historic leadership of Rabbi Henry Cohen, who is an icon in our movement and is synonymous with Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. He is Rabbi Repair the World. And it's an honor to be in Rabbi Cohen's pulpit this evening. It's a joy to be with Jake and Zach, who I met a few moments ago and who are very impressive B'nai Mitzvah, and to share the pulpit with Cantor Kazansky, to be with my colleague Rabbi Andrea Weiss, who is a neighbor here and who is a scholar and master teacher. My colleague Rabbi Jim Bleiberg, of course, is a member here. And of course, Rabbi Bricklin Small, whom I know as Carrie, is Bat Tabayit, a daughter of this house and of this home. I left anybody out, I apologize. It's good to be with you as well. Story is told that some years ago, Prime Minister Ariel Sharon, Lava Shalom, had an audience with the Pope. They ironed out a few issues, and after that, in appreciation, Ariel Sharon proposed a golf tournament with the Pope. The Pope accepted and then turned to the College of Cardinals and said, "Oy vey, what do I do now?" The College of Cardinals, in their wisdom, said, "We have the answer. Let's appoint Jack Nicklaus as a cardinal for a week, and we'll be in good shape." That's exactly what they did. The tournament took place, and the day afterwards, Jack Nicklaus had his audience with the Pope. So said the Pope, "How did it go?" And Nicholas said, "I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I played the game of my life. I had more birdies and eagles than I've ever had in a tournament. It was glorious. I just was superb." Okay, said the Pope. "So what's the bad news?" "The bad news is that I lost to Rabbi Tiger Woods." I've got news for you. You do not need Rabbi Tiger Woods. You've got Rabbi Beth Kalisch. She's so appropriate for you that she has the same first name as this congregation. And I'd like to be invited back when, some years from now, you change the name to Congregation Beth Kalisch. Smart, dedicated, articulate, well-trained. I know she's well-trained. I know that personally because she and I share not one but two alma maters, if you will. So I know she had good teachers. I was one of them. She is full of energy. She loves being a rabbi. Beth was born to be a rabbi. And I think she was born for this congregation, I really do. I've only been here a couple of hours, but I have the feeling that it's so right. You're going to have a lot of great years together, Beth and Congregation Kalisch, Beth David. She grew up in Reform Judaism, but she is open to embracing Kalal Yisrael, the totality of the people of Israel. She's a woman with focus and with vision. Let me tell you how good she is. A few years ago, I needed a little lift me up. I needed some good words to cheer me up. So who do you go to for that? I went to two of my grandchildren who live in New York City. And I said to them quite naively and innocently, "Okay," it was Max and Ella. I said, "Max and Ella, who's your favorite rabbi?" And without a hesitation, they said, "Rabbi Beth." That was not the answer I was looking for. But it is the answer that you're looking for. And that's more important. And besides that, she sings beautifully as well. She has an extraordinary fiancé. Larry is a great, great guy. We had dinner together in New York a few months ago. Chooses restaurants superbly, and lovely, lovely evening. Beth has a terrific mother and father here and a beautiful family, and I know how warmly you're all welcomed. I thank you for inviting us on this Shabbat because this is Shabbat Nitzavim. It's a portion we read on the holy days. Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem Lifnei Adonai Elohechem. You are standing here, all of you, today before the Lord your God. That's what Moses says to the people of Israel in his last address to them. Okay, you're sitting, but imagine you're standing at Sinai, each one of you. Whether you're a Hotevet Secha or a Shoev Meimecha, whether you're a hewer of the wood or a drawer of water. Do we have any hewers of wood or drawers of water here tonight? Okay, but the list would go on. doctors, lawyers, accountants, teachers, what have you, you're all standing, sitting here today before the Lord your God. And then Moses goes on to make an oath. To make an oath with God. And I would add, and I hope Moses will allow the editorial liberty, you're making an oath also with this congregation and with this rabbi. Because she didn't apply for this position and come here just to keep things the same way. She's going to shake you up a little bit. Maybe not tomorrow or the next day, but she will. And that's why she's here. She's not going to do it radically and rapidly. She's smart, too smart for that, but she will help you strengthen your oath, your relationship with the synagogue, with her, and most important, with God. So whether you're an officer, trustee, past or present, whether you're about to be bar mitzvah tomorrow, guys, whether you're children in a religious school, whether you're a past bar bat mitzvah or confirmand, whether you're just a member who joined so that your children could go to school or you would have a community, whatever it may be, get ready for deepening that relationship, get ready to strengthen that oath. And you'll be the richer for it, I promise you. If you're a Jew who wants to delve deeper into Judaism, to search for the meaning of existence, if you're someone who's experienced loss, and haven't we all, or won't we all, if you're seeking comfort or direction, if you're longing for community or connection, this is your place and this is your rabbi. If you're a non-Jew who's searching, or a part of a wonderful intermarried family in this congregation, this too is your rabbi. And what the portion teaches us is that a brit, a covenant, which is what you have with your rabbi, with your synagogue, with God, this brit is not one way. It is a two-way street. And this is your opportunity, the first day of the rest of your Jewish life, if you will. It's an exciting time to be part of this brit, of this covenant. It's exciting for two reasons that I would offer. One is that the synagogue is making an enormous difference in people's lives. No matter what you hear about the synagogue dying, the synagogue being less significant, I want to tell you that the synagogue is relevant, purposeful, and making a difference. A little story, a true story, about a young man who grew up in my congregation, but it could happen and has happened everywhere, and I'm sure it's happened here. Some time ago, newspapers carried a report about a major fraud that was perpetrated by one of our nation's largest corporations. A few months later, I ran into the parents of this young man who grew up in our synagogue. They asked me if I'd seen the newspaper story, which I vaguely recalled, and they wanted me to know that their son, another story about a son or daughter, okay, wanted me to know that their son, who lives here in Philadelphia, was a catalyst in uncovering this corruption. And then they asked me, do you know where he learned the importance of pursuing justice? No, I said, thinking they might be referring to a law professor or a relative. Then they said something that amazed me and thrilled me. They said that he told them the week before that his commitment to the pursuit of justice came from his discussion of the Hebrew prophets with his rabbis in our post-confirmation class. And that doesn't just happen in Westfield, New Jersey. It happens in synagogues throughout America. It is a privilege to be part of a covenant with the teenagers of this or any synagogue. and that includes the boys and girls here. And that's what your rabbi will have. Just one example of the differences, the impact that is being made by rabbis and cantors and teachers in synagogues throughout America. The other reason why it's great to be a rabbi today is that this is a time in which synagogues are experiencing dynamic change. Now, Judaism has always changed, and Reform Judaism especially understands the importance of change. A liberal synagogue that does not change will eventually die, or at least it will be reduced to a shadow of itself. An example of change. It is in the role of music, and I love the way you brought the congregation into the music tonight and the way that you were singing. Abraham Joshua Heschel taught us that the soul of prayer is to be found in music. The soul of prayer. That's a big thing for a rabbi to say who said somebody, I'm the rabbi, not the cantor, and there's a rabbi who often can't carry a tune. Your rabbi, of course, can. Very well. But I do believe that music is at the heart and soul of prayer. Once a month in our congregation, as in many synagogues, we celebrate what's called Shabbat Hallelu. Sometimes it's called Shabbat Live or so forth. And we get 400 or 500 people who come from ages 2 to 92 to sing their Jewish hearts out. I have an image. This is why I love being a rabbi. This is why your rabbi loves being a rabbi. I have an image of a woman, late 30s, early 40s, seated in third, fourth row, my congregation. She's there almost all of the Shabbat Hallelu that we have. And she has a young son. He's a preschooler, and he sits in her lap during Shabbat Hallelu, and her arms are wrapped around him. And one Shabbat, my eyes were riveted upon her as she closed her eyes and embraced the boy and rocked back and forth like this in song and celebration of Shabbat. Her eyes, her body, her voice, they had the spirit, as they say in some churches, and she was in deep prayer. Would Moses recognize this as prayer? I'm not sure. There's a wonderful midrash about how Moses returns hundreds of years later to Beit HaMidrash, to a study session, and he's quoted by teachers, and does he recognize that they quote Moses? He doesn't recognize it, but he knows that the tradition changes and that Judaism continues because we constantly are finding new ways to pray. So this is what you have in store for you. And one final thought. I promise you that your rabbi will take good care of you. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. I implore you to take good care of your new rabbi. A personal story. It was a beautiful September day, a Tuesday to be specific. It was the morning that I'd scheduled my annual physical at my physician's office, and I was literally on the table in the middle of an EKG, okay? When I heard commotion outside, loud voices, news was coming in. It was 9/11, September 11, 2001. By midday, incidentally, it wasn't a very good EKG, obviously. By midday, it was clear that our congregation had lost at least 3 members, 2 in the towers and 1 on Flight 93, which went down 220 miles west of here in Shanksville. For the next week, like other colleagues around the country, I did nothing but provide comfort and counsel to those 3 families and to my traumatized congregation and community. In the middle of that, about the 4th or 5th day, my soul was still shaken, my personal fuel tank was on empty, and in the middle of that day, my temple president reached out to me and asked, "Chuck, how are you doing? How are you doing? Are you taking care of yourself? Do you know how much we appreciate what you're doing?" I shall never forget those words, and they kept me going through the days and weeks ahead. God willing, you and your rabbi will never confront days like that. But there will be times that will be extremely difficult for you and for her. The poignant privilege of being a rabbi is that you can count on us all the time. All the time. We will be there for you. Be there for her as well. Ask her how she's doing. Inquire of her welfare. Make sure she takes days off, vacations, sabbatical. Let her know that you appreciate what she's doing. Support her by engaging with her and with each other in the work of the sacred community. She cannot do it without you. Remember, my friends, you don't need Rabbi Tiger Woods or even Rabbi Rory McIlroy. See, I'm up to date. Barucha Kehilat Beit David. Blessed, you are blessed that Rabbi Beth Kalisch is your rabbi. Barucha Harav. Barucha Harav Shelchem. Blessed is Rabbi Beth Kalisch to be the rabbi of Congregation Beth David. Go forward from strength to strength. Amen.
I get to speak tonight because it says Rabbi in front of my name, so that gives me access to the pulpit. But I don't want to talk to you as a rabbi. I want to talk to you as a person who was raised in this community and loves this place as home, a person who spent every high holiday sitting in the 3rd row right there, 2 seats over. Every year my parents still sit there. And as a person who loves Beth Kalisch as much as I love this place. I called Beth and I said, "Beth, do you have one of those quotes that kind of marks your rabbinate, you know? They made us write a vision statement when we were ordained. Maybe you pulled up something there." And she said, "Sort of. I have something that hangs on my wall that I read every day when I walk into my office." I said, "Give it to me." And she said, turn it, and through it you shall see. Grow old with it. Do not depart from it. There is no better portion in life than this." And I thought, oh, Beth's found the perfect quote. That is Beth Kalisch. Let me tell you where I first remember Beth. We had gotten off of a flight to Israel, so we were good and gross as you are at the end of a flight of that length, and I was dazed and confused. I was standing at the sign in to the hostel. I had no place to live in Jerusalem. And the woman next to me, who looked more composed than I could have imagined looking if I had been there for a month, said, "I saw you on the plane. You look like you must be a first-year rabbinic student. I'm Beth Kalisch, so am I." And I thought, oh, She has it way more together than I do. I had no idea what a rabbinic student looked like, let alone what another rabbinic student would look like, let alone being able to spot them in the plane. All I remember from the plane is vaguely that there was a large group of birthright students in front of me, and I was ducking food being thrown the entire time. And this woman had managed to walk down the aisle, and in the midst of that chaos, just pick out somebody who had something in common with her, even if she didn't know what it was. She reached out, she introduced herself, and my life changed forever. She moved into my apartment in Jerusalem for a month, which was a blessing when you're living by yourself in a country a million miles from your family. She brought joy, and she sings all the time, so she brought song with her. And then our second year of rabbinic school, they said to us, you need a chevruta partner. I'm a little bit of an independent, I have a little bit of an independent streak, is the way my father would say it from a bima. And I thought, I don't really want to study with anybody. I don't live near anybody. This is a total pain. So I ignored it. And that Monday, we walked in, and everybody had called somebody that weekend, as you heard, and had a chevruta partner. And Beth and I were sort of standing off at the edges like this. Okay. My life changed even more that day. I have never learned as deeply as I learn when I'm learning with Beth. I don't know if I know you all have seen the product of her thinking. I don't know if you've ever seen the process of Beth thinking. Beth and I had to write papers together, particularly for Rabbi Professor Andrea Weiss, who was famous for assigning very difficult, papers. And Beth thinks before she does anything, which if you're in grad school and you have 5 papers due at the end of the term is wonderful and terrible, because Beth thinks like this, with her hands perched over the keyboard. Have any of you ever seen Beth at her desk? No? Okay, it's like this, ready? And she'll type out a potential sentence in her mind. And she's so bright that you'll then see her delete the potential sentence and do it again and again and again until it's perfect. And what Beth produces is always amazing. To the point when once I'm the throw everything down on the paper, get it done rabbi, and she's the think it through rabbi, it made us great partners because we could even each other out. And once she let me read the assignment, and I said, okay, we have to write a paper on these 10 verses. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember this? Well, I read the wrong 10 verses, and we wrote a 10-page assignment on the wrong 10 verses of Bible, but it was so beautifully thought out that Rabbi Andrea Weiss accepted it. Don't tell her current students that. Which, her thinking, her ability to take an idea, to turn it over and over and over in her mind until it shines in a way you never thought it would see is Beth's outstanding characteristic. And it's through her thinking that Beth David, a community I'm proud to call home, will be able to see. When I was sitting in the 3rd row all those years, I always read, "Seek peace and pursue it." And I thought that's what it meant to be in a congregation, that your job was to seek peace and pursue it. And then I got old enough that instead of just looking around, I started listening to the Rabbi Cohen, and I realized that there was more. And through him was my first introduction to the concept of the I-thou relationship, and the idea that it was not just through seeking peace, but through seeking another, that I could find that peace and find something holy. I don't know what the slogan of Beth's rabbinate will be yet, but I know that through it you shall see an entire new piece of Torah as it lays out in the generations to come. The next part of her verse, grow old with it. Well, you've got years till Rabbi Beth Kalisch is old, which means you have years to grow together, years to learn together, years to be together. And I wish for you, for my community, my home, nothing but years of learning with Beth. The next part of her verse, do not depart from it. This is a new moment for this congregation. Rabbi Kroloff spoke about how she's going to change things. She is. She's already changing things. When I was a kid, we stood for the Shema here. We don't do that anymore. And she has reasoning and thought, and she's thought about it, and she's moving us places. It takes patience to move with a person. It's kind of like a marriage. I'm a whole 3 years into my marriage, so I can tell you it takes patience. It takes patience to walk along a path, to be with a person and to see where that's going to go, even if you don't know where it is. And I wish for you, as all the learning and changes unfold, that you do not depart from each other, that you hold on to this beautiful, joyous moment and you return back here at the times when you're struggling to the excitement and the enthusiasm, and you stick with one another. The final piece of Beth's saying or slogan is that there is no portion in life better than this. As a person, as a rabbi, there is no better portion in life than this moment. I'm standing here at the place that built me and formed me, and I see it being put in the hands of a person who has built me and formed me, who has sustained me, and who I know will sustain this place with that same love, attention, and intellect. It is truly a moment, I'm going to cry. It is truly a moment of joy to be standing here, knowing that my congregation is in the hands of Rabbi Beth Kalisch. For that, I would say a shehechianu, a blessing for being at this joyous time. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'hegianu lazman hazeh. Amen. I take off my personal hat and I put on my rabbinic hat, and I would like to lead you in some prayers, both for Rabbi Kalisch and for her family. They're found in the blue book. In the centerfold page is a prayer on behalf of the congregation. Rabbi Kalisch, you want to stand in the center? I'm not going to cry. Be strong and courageous. Never let Torah fade from your lips. Rabbi, today we are blessed to call you our rabbi. We look forward to sharing our joys together. We are hungry for your guidance and vision. Life can be unpredictable and unfair. We thank you for taking on the sacred burden of the leadership in Israel. May God be with you. May God bless you with health and strength. May the light of the Torah shine strongly within you, illuminating all those you touch. May your teachings take us higher and higher. May God bless the choices you make. May God bless this community with unity and peace. May He lead us from strength to strength. May God bless this new path you are about to undertake. May God bless you with courage and power. Let me start that one again because it's beautiful and I messed it up. May God bless you with courage and power to be bold. May God watch over you and shield you from harm. May you be a blessing to this world, and may blessings surround you now and always. Amen. Can I give you a hug? So I know from experience that it's not just a rabbi who moves into a community, it's a rabbi's family who comes as well, and I would ask your participation in blessing Beth's family. I'm going to call up here to the base of the stairs Larry, Beth's mom Joyce Lazoff, Beth's dad Bruce Kalisch, Marcia, Jessica, Molly, and Alex Kalisch, Barry Sack, Judy, soon-to-be mother-in-law. Are we doing? Marjorie Lazoff, and June and Marty Cadell. Gather around. The goal is hugging. The next page in your blue book. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. May you be blessed and thanked for all to bring our rabbi to this sacred work. May he be sustained through the knowledge that she has devoted herself to a life of purpose. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'kunecha. May God turn God's face to shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May you be gratified by the knowledge that so much of the wisdom your rabbi shares with us comes from lessons she has learned from you. May we bless you with our awareness, our rabbi's sacred obligations to the Jewish people, beginning with our obligations to her family. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. V'yasem lacha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may God grant you peace. May the joy that our new rabbi brings to this community be a reflection of the life she lives at home. May we come to welcome your family into our home, knowing that through connection to each other, we may build something truly holy. Amen. Mazel tov.
All this and a rock star, too. I don't know about you, Carrie, but nobody ever called me a rock star. Gives me an inferiority feeling, but I'll get over it. Speaking of rock, in Hebrew, the word sur, the rock of our people, the rock of our tradition. We use the term sur, or rock, to refer to God, but it can also refer to Torah. God, Torah, at the center of what we do, of what we are about. So I'd like to invite your Rabbi, Henry Cohen, to join us on the bima, to lead in the passing of Torah from Rabbi, cantor, rabbis and cantor, to our new rabbi. And as Rabbi Cohen comes forward, know that the Torah is at the center of his rabbinate. Everything that you did flowed from the teachings of Torah, and everything that we are and need to become flows from the teaching of Torah.
Howdy. It's been a long time. I'm very pleased that this evening Beth Kalisch is being installed as the permanent rabbi of Beth David. Please give her your support. How? By participating in the fundamental functions of synagogue life. Under her leadership and with your support, Beth David will continue to be a Bet HaTefillah, a house of prayer where all are welcome to find spiritual strength and inner peace. Under her leadership and with your support, Beth David will continue to be a Bet HaMidrash, a house of study, where all are welcome to find insight and inspiration in our Jewish heritage. Under her leadership and with your support, Beth David will continue to be a Bet HaKnesset, a house of meeting, where we can come together to make a difference for good in the world. May we find new ways to bring justice and peace to the Jewish people, to our nation, and to the human family. We are grateful to Rabbi Kalisch and to all those who preserve the values of our heritage and who make those values meaningful to every generation. Thank you.
I feel very privileged to finish my career this day, standing between these two wonderful, wonderful brothers. And I'm glad to pass this to them.
Beth, we stand here with love, with pride, and with tikva, with abundant hope and great expectations for you, for those who work with you, and for this great synagogue. May everything that you do flow from Torah. May you and the synagogue be grounded in Torah. Turn it over and over, and when there is no one else to speak up for truth, for the principles of Torah, you will be there to lead us, to teach us, to show us the way.
Rabbi Kalisch, there is nobody else in this whole world who I would rather call my rabbi. The rabbi of Beth David needs to be somebody who is unafraid to speak truth to power, who knows right and wrong, who questions everything, and who never lets good enough alone. I was raised under a rabbi of greatness, and I am so delighted that Beth David is in the hands of another great rabbi. Amen. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Shalom.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech
What's more?
We remain standing. And we turn for the Amidah in those blue bracketed numbers on page 164.
Adonai Sevata Tifta Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu V'Imoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah El Haggadol Hagibor V'Hadorah Elion Romer Chasadim Tovim V'Koneh Hakol V'Zocher Chasei Avot V'Yimachot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem Leman Shemo Be'Ahava Melech Ozer Mashiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magei Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Melech Hakol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia Mehalkel Chaim Bechesed Mehaye Hakol Rahamim Rabim Tzorech Noflim Berofei Cholim Umazir Asurim Umkayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha B'Givurot Urido Melach Melech Meimit Umchayem ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים אלוהים יברכו חסרה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
I invite you to continue your Amidah individually using the traditional words on the right-hand side of the page, the creative options on the left-hand side of the page, through page 179 in the blue brackets. When you're finished with the words of the prayer book, it's traditional to offer up whatever is in your own heart this evening, and you can be seated when you're finished or whenever you need to be.
רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל ולפילתו באהבה תקבל
I warn the bar mitzvah families. You know that you have a mentor that you really admire when he tells the joke you were going to tell. Rabbi Kroloff, I was going to get a really big laugh out of that we have the same first name thing. It is such an honor to be here this evening. My teachers and colleagues, Rabbi Kroloff, Rabbi Bricklin Small, and Rabbi Cohen, have taught such beautiful Torah that, as the rabbis say, I'll only say a short few things. So I want to tell you that I did occasionally ponder this possibility before I was ordained, that I might find myself at home with a congregation that shared the same first name as me. Beth Shalom, Beth El, Beth Kalisch. There are lots of us out there. But it wasn't until I came here to Beth David that I really began to grasp the significance of our shared name. Beth, or Beit, as we might pronounce it in Hebrew, means house or home, house of shalom. House of peace is this congregation. And I feel blessed to have this really rare opportunity to be able to stay and to serve this congregation, which began to feel like home to me almost as soon as I arrived. Together, I hope that all of us can build this congregation as a home for Jews and for families of all shapes and sizes. I believe in synagogues because I believe in these big ideas that are our Jewish inheritance. Chesed, kindness, tzedek, justice, Torah, learning, mitzvah, obligation, ruach, spirit, kihila, community, and this incredible unbroken chain that is Am Yisrael, the Jewish people. But while the spark of Judaism is in those big ideas, you can't live in ideas. Synagogue is the doorway through which each of us as individuals enter into this incredible heritage that we have and find ways of making it our own. We enter through the doorway of Beth David, and if all of us are doing our jobs well, then this becomes our home, our bait. The word Beth, or Bet, is also the name of the second letter of the Aleph Bet, the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph Bet. Now the rabbis note that Bet is the second letter of the Aleph Bet, but the first letter of the Torah. And they wonder why it is that this letter was chosen, as it were, to begin our whole Torah. They note the shape of the letter Beit. It is, in fact, sort of shaped like a house, like a home with a roof and a foundation and a wall. But then they note that it's also open on one side, and because Hebrew is read from right to left, the Beit is open toward all that is to come, toward the whole rest of the Torah. Rabbi Lawrence Kushner teaches that it's as if if this first letter Bet says to us, don't pay attention to what is above or below or behind. Pay attention to what is in front of you, because this is the beginning of the world. We have so much behind us, so much all around us, but I feel especially privileged to stand here today to look ahead with all of you who have given so much over the years to this congregation, who have led this congregation with so much devotion and so much caring. Working as a rabbi at a large synagogue in New York City, as a rabbi at very small synagogues in western Pennsylvania, among other places when I was a student rabbi, what made me love synagogue life the most was watching how people put themselves into making this a home. And so, from all of you who have put so much of yourselves into making tonight such a beautiful evening for me, and I hope for this whole congregation, to everyone who put that bit of yourselves into making sure our own egg is as Hamish and as delicious as I know that it will be. Thank you. May we be open, like the Bet, like the Beth, to all that is ahead of us, closed to anything that would be obstacles, and both open-minded and focused on looking at the possibilities. Thank you for welcoming me home, and thank you for joining me on this, our new beginning. I want to take a moment to say a mishaberach lecholim, a prayer for all those who are in need of healing. If you are praying for someone in your life this week, I invite you to say those names out loud now in Hebrew or in English. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu Abraham, Yitzchak ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Leah ve'Rachel, hu yivarech et hacholim ha'ele. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, bless and heal all those who are ill. May God bless them with refuah shlema, renewal of body, renewal of spirit. May these hours of Shabbat bless them with a little more strength, a little more courage, a little more peace. May they know that the prayers of this community are with them. May we find the words to tell them so, and let us say, Amen. Prayer for the State of Israel, page 377. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo, Baruch et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Geulatenu, Hagen Aleha be'avrat chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha v'amitcha l'rosheha, Sareha v'yotzeha, V'taknem be'etza tova milfanecha, V'natata shalom ba'aretz, V'simchat olam le'yoshveha, V'nomar. Amen. We rise for Aleinu, page 586.
Aleinu neshaveh laton hakol, latev yeduvah yotzer breshit, she'ol asar keveh ha'arafot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, she'ol sam chalkeinu gahem, ve'gor aleinu ve'gor ha'olam,
Our thoughts turn now to those who are no longer with us, those who died in recent days, as well as those who died in this season and years gone by. If you're here saying Kalisch for a loved one, I invite you to rise when I read the name of your loved one. This week, our congregation mourns the recent deaths of Susan Sainer, mother of Marlon Silvera, Bonnie Savoy, mother of Michael Savoy, and Richard H. Carter, father of Rick Carter. And we mourn the yahrzeits of Saul Philip Baird, Arnold Schate, Jerry Cohen, Francis Dichter, Ted E. Friedman, Edith T. Gellert, Haskell Gordon, Eva Holtman, Herbert Leibovitz, Naomi Milstein, Joseph Ominski, Barbara Rubenstein, Belle Sachs, Shirley Simon, Joseph Sterling, Sidney Walensky. Any other names for whom people are saying Kalisch this evening? We rise as one congregation. Kalisch is on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbi, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbi mevarach le'elam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tishbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring comfort to all those who mourn and peace to all those who are bereaved. And we say, Amen. Amen. May their memories be for blessing. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to invite up Toby Gang and Karen Karmatz-Rudy, who have put in so much work as co-chairs of this installation.
Mazel tov to the Silberstein family as Zach and Jake are called to the Torah tomorrow morning as B'nai Mitzvah. Mazel tov, guys. Also, tomorrow morning we welcome back Rabbi Carrie Brickland Small as she and Rabbi Kalisch conduct Torah study in the multipurpose room. All are invited to participate. Tomorrow evening is the Community Slichot program, this year hosted by Har Zion Temple. Reception begins at 8 p.m., concurrent programming at 8:30, and concurrent worship at 9:30. Rabbi Kalisch and Cantor Kazansky will be participating in the contemplative service. There's still room on the bus to attend the People's Climate March in New York City on Sunday. The bus departs from Center City at 8 a.m.
So I'd like to say thank you to the entire installation committee, as well as those who weren't on the committee but showed up to do remarkable work. And I have to call out some names. Jim Costello, without whom we would have no kitchen, and I would not sleep. Debbie Wimmer and the challah bakers. You did notice that all your challahs were homemade or made here. WRJ and Beth David Men for their generous donations to tonight. All the bakers for the Oneg Shabbat that we're about to experience. All the women who harvested the flowers from their gardens and arranged them this morning. To Ira Shears, who has impeccable taste and superb sensibilities. To Louis Bricklin for the beautiful program. To Joe Manco and Larry Levine for our environmental talk. To Karen and others who did the children's program. Suzanne Marsh. To Jill Cooper and Susan Levy, who were tremendous help. And to our wonderful maintenance crew, particularly Charles, who convinced me that we could put 23 tables downstairs and not step on each other and actually serve a dinner. So when you see Charles and others, please say thank you, because they made it possible. At the conclusion of services this evening, please join us in the social hall for, I believe, a wonderful Oneg Shabbat, sponsored by Nancy and Eric Silberstein in honor of Zachary and Jacob becoming B'nai Mitzvah, and by the congregation who prepared delicious home-baked goodies in honor of Rabbi Kalish's installation. Shabbat Shalom.
If I may, I would just add, thank you very much for the choir who appeared completely unexpected, and here they are.
Okay, Zach, Jake, and your family. Most bar mitzvah boys don't have to sit through a service quite this long. So you've earned a really good oneg. Let's help everyone out with Kish and Motzi. It's page 5 in the regular book.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikrei kodesh zecher l'tziyat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta v'tanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kadshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-shabbat. Amen.
We're finished in the same key. We didn't start.
Whatever's left over during the thing. This is your time.
Candles are very melty tonight. So, Alexa, I need you to help me extract.
Oui.
We got the food out. So one of the first things I learned when I became the interim rabbi here was that sometimes I was causing big problems by letting people eat the challah up here, but it wouldn't get to the oneg. So I know we have a lot of food. This is your job. Bring the challahs to the oneg.
Okay.
Before all the rest of us can eat, we need to do just a little more singing. So page 652. This is an oldie but a goodie. Classic Israeli song, Bashana Haba'ah. And so for all of this future ahead of us and for the new Jewish year that is to come, you will see how good it will be.
We're singing first and third verse. Bashana haba nesher mepesem elizor tzipori noder yeladim bechusha yisaku tofes ben abayit levin asatat otirei kamatobi bashana Bashana Haba'ah Nifroz Kapot Yadayim Mul Ha'or Hanigar Halavan Anafa Levana Tifroz Ha'or Kafayim Behashemesh Yizra Betochan Otirei Kamatov Yeh Bashana
For one final blessing, we want to invite, I know we have one more rabbi, my teacher, Rabbi Andrea Weiss, and one more cantor Boris Kazansky, who are in the congregation. So I want to invite them. If Rabbi Jim Bleiberg is here too, I think I saw him at dinner. Invite Rabbi Bleiberg up. We need all the rabbis, all the cantors for the blessing.
Adonai Oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yirech et amo v'shalom.
Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai will bless our people and will bless this Beth, this house of David, of joy, of family, of celebration, with shalom, with peace. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will.
Music, please.
I said for her 25th. actually lost my voice on the Bible before to the point where I like choked up. I don't know if you got half of the congregation.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. I